I'm going to be tying a small spinner pattern. Now the hook I'm using is a barbless. It's a Partridge of Redditch, size 16. It's the SLD. For the thread I'm going to be using just a uni in red 80. Simply start at the eye of the hook and put down a layer of thread. Just all the way down the shank until, normally I would say to stop in line with the barb of the hook. But obviously there's no barb there, so we remove the waste piece. You're looking for probably around about 2mm from the eye. Now, tail, you could use hackle fibres, cream hackle fibres. In this case I'm going to be using microfibers. And it's a nice cream colour as well. It's up to yourself. I like both. It's worth having both our flies tied with both. I think more the secret with the microfibers is that you don't have them too long. Looking tail length at the length of the hook. And then put that into your finger and thumb. Now there are 3 fibres here, but I'm going to split them. I do a single turn on top, and I bring the thread underneath. Bring the fibres up on top, and then split the fibres so they're like this. And then encourage them to stay like that by doing a figure 8 through the near and the far side. Just ignoring the centre. And this here, as you see, locks them, keeps them apart. Trim away the waist. Full length of the body. You're looking for at least about 3mm from the eye. Now, this is dyed peacock herring, a nice hot orange. You could use the red, but I'm using the red thread. But if you're going to tie it, if you say you're using orange thread, then you could use a dyed red. It works exactly the same, but I'm using red and then dyed orange peacock. Now, what you do with the herring is remove it with a rubber, and you end up with the quill itself, and here's the quill. Just make sure there's no hairs on it, because I'm going to be varnishing this. Then really catch it on the side, full length of the body, and touch and turns, take your thread up. This point here. Then you want to rib the fly. Just bring it round, just take your time. I like to try and keep them as straight as possible, with the thread showing in between each turn of the peacock quill. This point here, cross your thread, 2 or 3 to hold, and then remove the waste piece. Then what I do is come in and whip finish, just a couple of times, and then remove your thread. Now, what to do here is to protect it. This is why I tie off. Is varnish, but that makes the body much better. It just enhances the colour, brings out the colour of the material that you've used, the quill and the thread. Once that dries, it tightens up and the colour's really nice. Now what I'm going to do is remove this and allow it to dry. Now I've got one obviously dry, ready to tie. There we go. See how it's, make sure it's in your vise nice and tight. But as you can see, nice and shiny. The varnish has tightened up, so it makes the body really thin. And that's what you're looking for. You need a nice thin body. These flies are not heavy in any way, they're just nice and sparse. Now we're using the same thread, the uni in red. Just remove the waste piece. Now for the hackle, I'm going to be using, this is a Hoffman saddle, and it's a grizzle. You could use a Cree, which works extremely well. Now what I'm going to do here is remove some of the fibres from the stem, catch it on the side, with the underside of the feather facing myself. This is a good side of the front. So when you wind this forward, the fibres sit forward towards the eye. Now you're looking at least, I would say, depending how good the hackles are, but that's plenty, like 3 turns is okay. Just bring your thread up beside it and lock it down. Now what I would recommend that you just concentrate on taking the thread down towards the eye and then remove the hackle itself. Just watch, there's nothing coming forward. Just trim it away. That is okay. Now, as a spider pattern, that is excellent in itself. But what I'm going to do is pull the fibres back, make sure I'm not catching any. Take the thread up. Then, I've got a couple of fibres at the back here I don't like. See, they're lying flat. I don't like to see that, but just pull them back. Now, what I'm going to do here is lift the hackle fibres up from the bottom, put them on top, just by bringing my finger and thumb up through like this. Just take your time, just bringing it up. Watch how it's going. Some of these have been a wee bit stubborn, so I'm going to force them. Just bring them on top, nice and tight. And then bring the thread to the back and underneath in a single turn. Same to the front, like a figure 8 underneath. Bring the thread to the front to this point here. What this will do is lift the fibres. As you can see, causes the fly to sit much lower to the water and gives more of a footprint, and that's what you're looking for. Now you could finish at that, or I'm going to take some dubbing here. And this is some wabbit dubbing by the Montana Fly Company, and this one's rust, which suits the fly. This colour will compensate slightly for, if I'm using the grizzle, I did mention I'm using Cree. This will compensate for the brown colour. Now what I'm doing here again is holding the hackle up out the road, or out the way. Make sure this is tight first, and bring the thread to the back, again to the front, like figure 8 and underneath. Just take your time, you don't need a lot of dubbing. Now just a wee check to see how it's like underneath, because I like it nice and neat. That's ideal. Now remove the excess, just slide it down your thread. With anything going forward, just make sure it's pulled back. Now what I'm going to do here is tying off, I'm going to varnish at the same time. I'm going to rub the thread with the varnish using the brush, and then come in and wet finish. 1, 2, 3, which is plenty. Tighten up. That's as good as anything. That'll last for a long time. And there you are. That's a nice small spinner pattern. Very simple and easy to tie. As you can see, will make a lovely mark on the water. If you find there's 1 or 2 fibres that you've caught, you can come in easily and trim these away. Yep. I don't think the fish would notice, but I do. Anyway, that's your small, what I call sherry spinner. Worth certainly having in your box.